Last Sunday was Father's Day, and we were looking at Luke 15, the story of the prodigal son, or alternatively, the story of the loving father. It depends what angle you're looking at. And in fact, when you read this story, you can use your imagination. I think that's what parables are about to a large degree. And you could, in this instance, try and put yourself into the story and ask yourself the question, of the main characters in the story, which one do I relate to most? Do I see myself as the younger son who goes off into the far country, or do I see myself as the elder son who stays at home and complains about what's going on? Or do I see myself as the loving father? I mean, you might even see yourself as the fatted calf, because that's like bad news when the son returns, because the fatted calf is in real problems. And you might feel like that at times. You know, I just feel as though I'm always used by other people. But we're not going to concentrate on the fatted calf. Today, I just want to think about that younger son. You know the story. He takes his father's inheritance, he goes into the far country, he has a wild time, he ends up with nothing, he ends up with no friends and no money, and he has to feed pigs, and he decides, I'm going home. And what he says is this: how many of my father's hired men have food to spare, and here I am starving to death? I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired men. And particularly that I am no longer worthy to be called your son. You are not a son or a daughter of God because you're worthy. In fact, none of our children demonstrated a worthiness to enter our family. It's not about worthiness. I mean, there is a sense that to be a child of God, it's through the worthiness of Christ and his work on the cross that makes us able to be adopted into his family. But the idea of us being worthy is not a biblical concept. We were the opposite. We were not worthy to be called sons. And yet by the Holy Spirit, we have been made sons. And so he comes with this thing in mind: I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired men. And so he wants to live in slavery. He feels that's the only thing that he can do. You know, we don't need to live in slavery. That's what we said last Sunday, that it's for freedom that Christ has set us free. So maybe you see yourself, maybe in times past, you see yourself, I was a prodigal then. I didn't even know Father, and I was brought into his house. Maybe there have been times in your life when you've wandered off, and like a prodigal, you've come back to Father. Or maybe in some ways it's a daily experience that, you know, we wander in and out of Father's house. Sometimes we're outside of his house and we don't even realize it, and God has to call us back. So if you see yourself in this story as the prodigal, then take courage, because there's a robe awaiting you. There's a ring awaiting you. There's sandals for your feet, status and provision, and there's a party.